Have you ever wondered why the world's elite turned their backs on Princess Margaret's wedding to a man merely labeled a photographer, sparking a storm of international headlines? What was intended as a grand celebration of love and royalty morphed into a spectacle of controversy and scandal, with the absence of distinguished royal guests only fueling speculation and debate. After years of mystery, the cause of this snub has finally come to light. Please, remain composed as you hear the revelation. The royal family, and anyone with a close relationship with Princess Margaret, will never reveal this secret about her husband. One of the most sensational aspects of Anthony Armstrong Jones's premarital and marital life was his reputation as a ladies' man, and this is the reason why their marriage was looked down upon. Known for his many romantic liaisons, Armstrong Jones was often described as a Casanova of his time. His numerous affairs and the often turbulent relationships that accompanied them were well documented and contributed to his controversial public image. These aspects of his character were in stark contrast to the traditional expectations of loyalty and discretion associated with royal spouses. In a particularly scandalous twist, it was reported that Armstrong Jones fathered a child at the very moment he was engaged to Princess Margaret. This revelation was a significant blow to his public image and added to the intrigue and drama surrounding his personal life. The child, born out of wedlock during the period of his engagement, was a testament to Armstrong Jones's complicated and often scandalous private affairs. Such revelations underscored the tension between his public persona as a prominent photographer and his personal life, which was far from the idealized image of a faithful partner. Armstrong Jones's infidelity did not end with his marriage. His extramarital affairs continued throughout his marriage to Princess Margaret, straining their relationship and contributing to the eventual breakdown of their marriage. Despite his professional success and his role as a prominent figure in fashion photography, his personal conduct often overshadowed his achievements. His reputation as an unfaithful husband was a source of public and private turmoil, ultimately leading to the couple's separation and divorce. Let's go back in time to when Princess Margaret and Anthony's love story began. Reportedly, Margaret's romance with Anthony Armstrong Jones was a carefully guarded secret for the duration of their relationship leading up to their engagement. This discretion was not simply a matter of personal preference. It was also a strategic response to the challenges and potential backlash posed by their unconventional pairing. In the early 1960s, Princess Margaret was still reeling from the heartbreak of her previous romantic entanglement with Captain Peter Townsend. Their relationship had ended in 1955 after much public and political turmoil, partly because Townsend was a divorcee and thus deemed an unsuitable match for a member of the royal family. This precedent made Margaret's subsequent romance with Armstrong Jones, who was considered a commoner, even more controversial and fraught with potential disapproval from royal circles and the public alike. Armstrong Jones, who was well known in the fashion world but lacked the aristocratic pedigree traditionally preferred by the British royal family, was seen as an unsuitable match for the princess. His background, while respectable within his own profession, was not aligned with the high social standing typically associated with royalty. As a result, royal courtiers were reportedly disapproving of the relationship, viewing it as an inappropriate choice for the princess. Their disapproval was likely compounded by the fact that Armstrong Jones did not come from the nobility or possess any distinguished lineage, which was often a crucial factor in royal matchmaking. Anne de Courcy, the biographer of Anthony Armstrong Jones, shed light on the secretive nature of their relationship. In her book Snowden the Biography, she explains that the romance was shrouded in secrecy. Nobody knew about their relationship, there wasn't a whisper about it, de Courcy recounted in an interview with Town & Country. According to her, Margaret and Armstrong Jones were careful to maintain a low profile. The princess would visit Armstrong Jones at his studio discreetly, and although he did attend some of her social events and parties, his presence was often overlooked. The media and public focused their attention on other eligible bachelors who were seen as more appropriate matches for the princess. The clandestine nature of Princess Margaret's relationship with Anthony Armstrong Jones did not endure for long. By February 1960, just 2 years after their initial meeting at a dinner party, the secrecy surrounding their romance was lifted when the couple made their engagement public. This announcement was a significant departure from the norms of royal engagement disclosures, both in terms of the couple's backgrounds and the timing of the revelation. Margaret and Armstrong Jones's relationship began in 1958 at a social gathering where they first encountered one another. Despite the secrecy that surrounded their early courtship, the connection between them grew strong, and they decided to formalize their commitment. Their engagement announcement, made on February 26, 1960, marked a turning point, drawing widespread attention and media coverage. The engagement ring presented to Princess Margaret was a notable and symbolic piece of jewelry. Designed by Anthony Armstrong Jones himself, the ring featured a striking ruby set in a design meant to resemble a rosebud. This choice of design was not merely aesthetic, it held personal significance. The rosebud motif was a subtle nod to Margaret's middle name, Rose, which had been chosen in honor of her grandmother, Queen Mary. The ruby, a gemstone associated with passion and love, further accentuated the emotional and personal resonance of the ring. The engagement ring's design was a reflection of Armstrong Jones's personal touch and creativity. As a renowned fashion photographer with a keen eye for detail and style, Armstrong Jones's choice of a rosebud motif spoke to his deep affection for Margaret and his desire to craft something uniquely meaningful for her. The rosebud design also symbolizes new beginnings and the blossoming of their relationship, aligning perfectly with the couple's journey from a secret romance to a public commitment. The public announcement of their engagement was met with a mix of astonishment and intrigue. The couple's unconventional pairing, given Armstrong Jones's lack of aristocratic background, contrasted sharply with the traditional expectations of royal engagements. This difference only fueled public interest and media speculation about the couple's relationship and their future together. Despite the initial disapproval from some royal courtiers, the engagement was widely covered in the press, marking a significant moment in the British royal family's modern history. As the wedding day approached, the excitement and anticipation among the public grew. The streets of London were lined with thousands of well-wishers who came out to witness the historic event. From Buckingham Palace to Westminster Abbey, the route was filled with spectators eager to catch a glimpse of the royal procession. This outpouring of public enthusiasm highlighted the significance of the occasion and the fascination with Princess Margaret's choice of spouse. On the day of the wedding, Princess Margaret made a stunning appearance as she traveled from Clarence House to Westminster Abbey. In keeping with royal tradition, she traveled in the glass coach, an elegant and iconic vehicle that is reserved for state occasions and significant royal events. The glass coach, with its distinctive design and opulent interiors, added a touch of grandeur to the occasion and symbolized the importance of the royal wedding. Margaret was accompanied by her brother-in-law, the Duke of Edinburgh, who played a central role in the ceremony. Following the death of Margaret's father, King George VI, in 1952, the Duke stepped in to fulfill the role of giving the bride away. This gesture was both a mark of respect and a poignant tribute to Margaret's late father. The Duke of Edinburgh's presence and participation in the wedding underscored the support and unity within the royal family despite the unconventional nature of the marriage. Upon arriving at Westminster Abbey, Princess Margaret joined her groom, Anthony Armstrong Jones, and his best man, Dr. Roger Gilliatt, at the altar. Armstrong Jones, as a civilian, wore mourning dress for the occasion, a choice that distinguished him from the traditional military uniforms typically worn by royal grooms. His attire was a reflection of his non-aristocratic background and the more modern, relaxed approach to royal ceremonies that he and Margaret represented. The ceremony, held at Westminster Abbey, was presided over by the Archbishop of Canterbury, Geoffrey Fisher, who led a service attended by an impressive congregation of approximately 2,000 guests. This diverse assembly included a mix of royalty, politicians, and film stars, reflecting the wide-ranging interest and significance of the occasion. Among the notable attendees were members of the British royal family, dignitaries from the political realm, and celebrated figures from the entertainment industry. The presence of such a distinguished guest list underscored the blend of tradition and modernity that characterized the wedding. The ceremony was both a royal event and a reflection of the changing social landscape of the time. The bridal party was a highlight of the ceremony, featuring 8 young bridesmaids who added charm and youthful grace to the proceedings. Notably, Princess Anne, Margaret's niece, was among the bridesmaids, along with Marilyn Wills, Margaret's goddaughter. Their participation in the wedding not only honored their special relationship with the bride, but also brought a touch of familial warmth to the formal occasion. Following the service, the newlyweds signed the register, marking the official beginning of their married life. The royal party then made their way back to Buckingham Palace in a grand carriage procession. This journey, through the streets of London, allowed the public to partake in the festivities and witness the couple's transition from their ceremony to their celebration. The streets were lined with well-wishers, eager to catch a glimpse of the newly married couple as they passed by. Upon arriving at Buckingham Palace, the royal family and the newlyweds made a memorable appearance on the balcony. This tradition, deeply embedded in royal celebrations, provided an opportunity for the couple to acknowledge and thank the crowds who had gathered to celebrate with them. The sight of Princess Margaret and Anthony Armstrong-Jones standing together, surrounded by the royal family, was a moment of unity and joy that captivated those who had come to share in their happiness. After their balcony appearance, Princess Margaret and her husband enjoyed a wedding breakfast in the opulent setting of Buckingham Palace. The reception was an elegant affair, with a carefully curated menu that reflected the sophistication and grandeur of the occasion. According to the BBC, the wedding breakfast featured a sumptuous meal of filet of beef, green beans, and a special dish known as soufflé surprise Montmorency. This choice of fare exemplified the lavish nature of the celebration and the attention to detail that characterized the event. Hartnell, who had previously crafted Queen Elizabeth II's wedding gown in 1947, was entrusted with the design for Margaret's gown, ensuring that the princess's attire would be both exquisite and memorable. The wedding dress itself was a testament to Hartnell's skill and the timeless nature of classic royal design. Crafted from silk organza, the gown featured a full skirt that required over 30 meters of fabric to achieve its voluminous and graceful appearance. Despite the substantial amount of material used, Hartnell chose to keep embellishments minimal, focusing instead on the purity and simplicity of the design. This choice highlighted Margaret's natural grace and allowed her to stand out in an outfit that was both regal and refined. Life magazine famously described Hartnell's creation as the simplest royal wedding gown in history, a reflection of the prevailing fashion trends of the time and the princess's personal style. The simplicity of the gown was intentional, embodying an elegant understatement that contrasted with the often elaborate and heavily adorned royal wedding dresses of the past. Margaret's decision to opt for a more minimalist approach was a departure from tradition, but was executed with such sophistication that it became a defining aspect of her wedding day look. Complementing the gown was the Poltimore tiara, an ornate piece of jewelry that added a touch of historical grandeur to Margaret's ensemble. The tiara was originally made for Lady Poltimore by the House of Gerard in the 1870s. Its intricate design and historical significance made it a fitting accessory for the princess on her special day. The tiara's inclusion in Margaret's wedding outfit provided a nod to royal tradition, while adding a sense of timeless elegance. Margaret's bridal look was further enhanced by a dramatic cathedral-length veil that flowed gracefully behind her, adding an element of ethereal beauty to her appearance. The veil, with its sheer fabric and extended length, created a striking visual impact as it complemented the simplicity of the gown. It also played a significant role in the traditional bridal imagery, symbolizing purity and enhancing the overall regal aesthetic of the princess's wedding attire. To complete her look, Princess Margaret carried a delicate bouquet composed of orchids and lily of the valley. The choice of flowers was both symbolic and aesthetically pleasing. Orchids, with their exotic and elegant appearance, represented beauty and strength, while lily of the valley symbolized purity and humility. The bouquet's understated elegance harmonized with the overall simplicity of Margaret's wedding ensemble, creating a cohesive and refined bridal look. Following their opulent wedding and public celebrations, Princess Margaret and Anthony Armstrong Jones embarked on their honeymoon, offering yet another opportunity for well-wishers to express their joy and admiration. The newlyweds departed London on a grand send-off, which added a final touch of public enthusiasm to their wedding festivities. On the day of their departure, crowds gathered to wave goodbye to the couple as they boarded the royal yacht Britannia, docked at the Battle Bridge Pier on the River Thames. The royal yacht, a symbol of British maritime prestige, was the perfect vessel for their honeymoon voyage to the Caribbean, promising both relaxation and adventure in an idyllic setting. The royal yacht Britannia, renowned for its elegance and luxury, provided a fitting backdrop for the newlyweds' journey. As they set sail towards the sunlit waters of the Caribbean, the excitement and well-wishes from the crowds reflected the public's fascination with the couple and their new life together. Their honeymoon was not just a personal escape, but also a moment of celebration shared with the public, marking the beginning of their married life in a glamorous and memorable way. Upon returning from their honeymoon, the couple settled into their new residence at Kensington Palace, a significant step in their journey as a married couple. The move to Kensington Palace, a historic royal residence with deep connections to the British monarchy, was both a practical and symbolic gesture. It provided them with a prestigious home in the heart of London and further established their status within the royal family. In recognition of their marriage and Anthony Armstrong Jones's new role, he was granted the title Earl of Snowdon. This honor not only elevated his status, but also formally integrated him into the aristocratic circles of British society. Consequently, Princess Margaret became Her Royal Highness the Princess Margaret, Countess of Snowdon, a title that reflected both her royal heritage and her new position within the peerage. This change was significant, marking her transition from being simply a princess to also being a countess, thereby enhancing her formal recognition and status. The couple's life together was further marked by the arrival of their children. In 1961, Princess Margaret and the Earl of Snowdon welcomed their first child, David, who was born into a family deeply entwined with royal tradition and public life. David, later known as Viscount Linley, became a significant figure in the family, adding a new dimension to their personal and public lives. Their family grew further in 1964 with the birth of their daughter, Lady Sarah Chatto. Lady Sarah's arrival brought additional joy to the couple and completed their immediate family. Both children were raised within the royal tradition, contributing to the legacy of Princess Margaret and the Earl of Snowdon. The love story of Princess Margaret and Anthony Armstrong Jones, while initially celebrated for its novelty and romance, encountered significant challenges that ultimately led to its dissolution. Their marriage, which had begun with great public and personal enthusiasm, became a historical landmark for less auspicious reasons in the later years of their relationship. Despite the early excitement and the grand spectacle of their wedding, the marriage between Princess Margaret and Anthony Armstrong Jones faced growing strains over time. Reports of infidelity surfaced, which strained their relationship and created a public spectacle. The issues within their marriage became increasingly apparent, and by 1976, it was clear that their relationship could not withstand the pressures and disappointments that had built up over the years. Their separation in that year was a significant moment, marking the beginning of a period of personal and public upheaval for both individuals. The official announcement of their divorce came in 1978, making it a historic event in the context of British royal history. The divorce was the first royal dissolution of marriage since King Henry VIII's separation from Catherine of Aragon in 1540. Henry VIII's divorce was a pivotal moment in British history, leading to the creation of the Church of England. The divorce of Princess Margaret and Anthony Armstrong-Jones was a modern equivalent, representing a significant departure from traditional royal norms and highlighting the evolving nature of the monarchy in the 20th century. The announcement of their divorce was met with considerable media attention and public interest, reflecting the broader societal changes regarding marriage and divorce. The separation was not just a personal matter, but also a public event, given the couple's high-profile status. The end of their marriage was a clear indication of the shifting attitudes towards royal marriages and personal relationships, reflecting the impact of contemporary social changes on the institution of the monarchy. Despite the formal end of their marriage, the relationship between Princess Margaret and Anthony Armstrong-Jones remained complex and nuanced. Reports suggest that, even after their divorce, the former couple managed to maintain a relationship based on mutual respect and friendship. They were said to remain close friends, a testament to their enduring connection despite the personal and public difficulties they faced. Princess Margaret's death in February 2002 marked the end of an era for both the princess and the Earl of Snowdon. Their relationship, which had started with such promise and grandeur, had undergone significant transformations over the years. The end of their marriage was a notable event in the history of the British royal family, reflecting the challenges and changes within the institution as it adapted to the modern world. What do you think about the marriage of Princess Margaret and her photographer husband? Leave us your comments in the section below. We hope you have found this helpful video. Don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you like it. Thank you for watching this and see you in the next videos. Goodbye.